Okay, here's my outline and my verbal citations. Today I am going to be giving y'all an informative speech on Kendra Scott. So while Kendra Scott may be known for her jewelry, what all do we know about what she went through to become the multimillionaire she is today? During this speech, I will provide you with information on Kendra Scott and her company. I will be discussing three main topics about Kendra Scott. I'll begin by going over her background before her company. Then I will discuss the early years of Kendra Scott LLC. Finally, I will inform you on her different types of charity and philanthropy. Let's dive in to Kendra Scott's background. She was born on March 27th, 1974 in Wisconsin. In 1990, when she was 16 years old, she and her family moved down to Houston, Texas. And a couple years later, when she was 19, she moved to Austin to take care of her family. So she started her jewelry business in Austin of 2002. And as TF quoted of Kendra Scott in Storming the Coast from the South, "When I started this, I had people tell me I had to get out of Austin and move to LA or New York City to become a legitimate fashion brand. But something in my gut told me to stay." And Kendra's gut was right. Later, she had opened a store on Rodeo Drive in California, but closed shortly after due to a lack of sales. Now I'm going to discuss the business side of Kendra Scott LLC. This store right here wasn't what she first opened up in. She actually was out of the spare bedroom of her house, that's where she would make her jewelry. And later she would tote around her 3-month-old son to different boutiques to try to get them to sell her jewelry. In her first store that she opened, she wanted it to be different from other jewelry stores. She wanted the customers to be able to look at everything up close and personal, to try it on, to see what looked best, or to customize it, which is why she created her color bar, where you can go and pick different shapes, different metals, different gems, to get something that's just as unique as you are. And the earring that caused her company to skyrocket was the Danielle drop earring, right here. And according to Ford, who wrote "Turning the Jewelry Business on Its Ear," it became Scott's breakthrough piece, and a decade and a half million pairs sold later, it is one of her company's most popular designs. Today, the house that Danielle built is something of a juggernaut, with 89 standalone Kendra Scott boutique stores across the country. And as you can see, they are all customizable. You can have different colors to match anything you want. Now, finally, I'm going to inform you about her actions for charity. Kendra Scott is known for a large amount of charity events and giving to nonprofit organizations. In my academic research, I found that in Collective Philanthropy, Describing and Modeling the Ecology of Giving by Gottsman, Reagan, and Dodds, the distribution of gifts received by nonprofit institutions is approximately consistent with a power law-sized model. Individual institutions have their own characteristic scaling exponent. Fundraising projections modeled on power laws may be useful for predicting the success of a given campaign and for affecting the strategic planning of a campaign. Kendra Scott's different charity events have been very beneficial for many people. Here's an example of some of the things she does for charity. She will sell these charms and give a good chunk of the proceeds to these different organizations. Like this charm here with the butterfly has helped fund over 5,000 hours of research for metastatic breast cancer. This one here, the little book charm, has donated over 1,500 books to children in underserved communities. And this Longhorn charm right here helped her build the Kendra Scott Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute at the University of Texas, which started its first semester in spring of 2020. And looking at those generalized graphs in my academic research, I saw that Kendra Scott gives in a manner very similar to the power model of growth. I have discussed with you Kendra Scott's life. I began with providing information of her early life, Then I mentioned the early years of Kendra Scott LLC. Finally, I discussed her charity efforts and the causes she supports. Kendra Scott has made big waves in the jewelry community since her start in 2002. Her accessories are noticed almost everywhere, and her charitable acts have provided many opportunities.